And so now we're going to discuss several of those kind of life-sustaining or magical properties of water that are conferred by hydrogen bonding. And so we already talked about how water molecules can cling together because of the bonds between hydrogen atoms in one water molecule and the oxygen atoms of another. And these hydrogen bonds are what gives water a lot of its unique chemical properties, including the ability to stabilize temperature, to be a good solvent or a good dissolver, as well as to be sticky. And we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about each of these properties in the next couple slides. And so water easily stabilizes temperature. It has what's known as a high specific heat. And so water can absorb a lot of heat without changing temperature in a great amount. And this is due to hydrogen bonds. And the ultimate outcome of this is that water temperature rises and falls really slowly, which has a couple advantages in terms of being life-sustaining from an organismal level, in that it protects organisms from rapid temperature changes. So if you remember from the last couple slides, human bodies are made up of 60 to 70% water. And if that temperature of that water fluctuated greatly in response to the outside environment, every time it would be hot, all of the water in our body would get extremely hot as well, and it would denature our enzymes, and we would die. And the same thing would happen if it got really cold, right? All of the water in our body would immediately freeze if it changed temperature too quickly, and then we would die. And so the idea of homeostasis, or being able to maintain and protect ourselves from rapid temperature changes, comes from this property of water. And one example that I like to kind of give is that illustrates how long it takes for water temperature to change is thinking about the temperature of the ocean when you go in May versus going in September. And the same thing can be said for when you open your pool in May, or when you go swimming anywhere in a natural body of water in May versus September. And so in May, even though it might be really hot outside and the air temperature might be 90 degrees, the ocean temperature is cold. And it stays cold through July into August, and then by September and October, the ocean temperature is finally warmed up. Because even though the air temperature, the temperature outside, has been high and has been heating that water, it takes a lot of energy and a lot of heat to be absorbed for that water temperature to actually change, right? And so when you go in September, the water is nice and warm, and it remains warm into kind of the fall and winter months. Okay, and so additionally, in addition to this sort of slow change in temperature, you need energy to break these hydrogen bonds that hold water molecules together, right? And when you want to break a bond, you have to input energy. It's just like breaking a stick, right? And so if you want to bend a branch and break it, you're going to have to input some energy. But in the case of hydrogen bonds and water, the energy that's normally input to break them is heat. And this is advantageous to us as organisms because when we use our heat, or our body heat, to evaporate water and to break these hydrogen bonds, we remove heat from our body and therefore get cooler. And this is how kind of sweating or perspiration works. There's water on the outside of our body that we've exuded, and then we use our body heat to break the bonds in that water, turn it into steam or gas, and in the process we've removed our body heat and we get cooler as a result. And in terms of being life-sustaining on Earth, there is an advantage if that water stabilizes its temperature, and there are some advantages to the structure of water and the fact that it's held together by hydrogen bonds as well. Because when the temperature gets low rather than high, those hydrogen bonds between water molecules become really stiff, and they become really rigid, and water freezes into ice. And when it does that, rather than kind of shrinking down, those rigid bonds mean that water expands when it freezes. And as it expands, it leaves more room in between the molecules, and it becomes less dense, and it becomes able to float on top of liquid water. So even though ice is a solid structure when it is frozen, it's able to float on top of water, which is good for sustaining life on Earth, because if it did not float, ice would sink down into the bottom of the oceans, and those oceans would end up freezing solid. But rather, what happens is ice can actually float on top and insulate the rest of the water from the outside air and keep it from freezing, which allows us to have liquid water on the planet and keeps our climate stable throughout the year on Earth. So in addition to being good at stabilizing temperature because of its high specific heat, as well as being able to become less dense when it freezes, water is also good at dissolving things, which helps sustain life for us in several ways. And being good at dissolving things or being a dissolver as a substance is known as being a solvent. So one substance that can dissolve another is a solvent, and that's what water is. And there are some things, solutes, or molecules that love to dissolve in water, such as salt and sugar. So you can see here salt dissolving in water relatively easily. And that is because salt has a property, or is what we call hydrophilic, or water-loving. So that hydro portion being water and philic being loving, there are molecules that easily dissolve in water or water-loving or hydrophilic. But then there are also some molecules that fear water, or what are known as hydrophobic, so water fearing. And they don't dissolve easily. And some examples of that would be olive oil and any other fats. Lipids or fats are notoriously hydrophobic and don't dissolve easily in water. And the fact that there are some molecules that dissolve easily in water and some that don't help us survive, right? Because we can have cell membranes on the outside of our cells that are hydrophobic that can keep water out. And then we have some molecules like nutrients, salts, and sugars like glucose that can dissolve in water like our blood and then be transported there, right? So there's advantages to having both hydrophilic and hydrophobic molecules, and we're going to talk more about the biomolecules or macromolecules in the next lecture, and I'm going to be using these terms to describe their properties, right? And so water is good in general at dissolving a lot of things. And the last property of water we're going to discuss has to do with the stickiness of water. And so water molecules are able to stick to each other, and we've already talked about that, right? That's that hydrogen bonding between one positive hydrogen atom and a negative oxygen atom. And this ability of two waters sticking to each other is known as cohesion. And the best way to illustrate cohesion is really by looking at this water molecule here. And so you can see that rather than spilling out all over the surface of this leaf, these water molecules are able, these actually water droplets are able to come together and then stick together to the point which they just form a larger ball rather than spreading all over the surface. And that droplet ability of water to kind of stick to itself is cohesion. And water molecules are also able to stick to other things. And that ability of water molecules to stick to other surfaces is what's known as adhesion. So cohesion is two waters sticking together. Adhesion is water sticking to other molecules. And this can be seen when we think about putting a straw into your drink or into your glass of water. When you lower that straw in there, some water will get sucked into the straw naturally, even if you're not applying any pressure, and that's due to adhesion. And the stickiness of water, this ability to stick to itself as well as to other molecules, allows it to be transported in both plants and in your blood vessels. And so it can be moved via cohesion and adhesion all the way from the bottom of the roots of a tree to the tips of the leaves here, as well as through arteries and veins in your body. just because it is those cohesive and adhesive properties.